If you heard the name SillyFangirl or Nate the Ruben, not many people outside of the Brazilian Mania community would have recognized that name a couple of years ago. Nowadays, anytime you begin to surf around for upper level Osamania content, he's one of the first names you will find, and is now recognized as one of the most popular players in all of 4Key. Welcome to the first episode of Player Analysis, and the first player we will be delving into is one of Brazil's top players, SillyFangirl. SillyFangirl, or commonly referred to as Nate, is a 4-key, 7-key dual main from Brazil. Coming from a primarily Guitar Hero background, Nate would find himself dipping his toes in 4-key by uploading his first score on January 7th, 2014. Nate found himself improving pretty quickly in this game mode, making his transition from Guitar Hero into Osamania seem a lot smoother than people would have thought. It wouldn't be too much longer until Nate started to turn some heads in the 4-key community by cracking the top 10 on II in 2016. This would be one of the catalysts for the brute force approach Nate took to this game, uploading double time after double time score and getting his name out there. Nate would eventually give Eterna a shot to test his skills there as well, uploading a database 1.2 AA, U-Time 1.4 AA, and a AA on Japanese Transformation 1.1. At this point, Nate was already competing with the majority of top players, and this was only after a couple years of playing. Now that we have gone over some backstory, let's talk about Nate's playstyle, what he's good at, what he seems to struggle with, and talk about some of his best scores. Nate is a wrist down player. Along with that, he seems to keep his hands pretty still while he's playing, not rotating his wrists often, and puts more emphasis on his fingers for pattern transitioning. As for skill sets, Nate's jack stamina is something definitely worth admiring. Scores like S's on Break 1.25, Ice Angel 1.3, and Chaser 1.3 are just a few examples, and this jack stamina translates over to his jump stream and hand stream scores as well. Nate also seems to have an infatuation with speed files with lots of mini jacks in it, or files with patterns that are traditionally played on pad. His FC on Rave 7, AA on We Eat at 5 Guys 1.6, and AA on Hybrid Brute 1.35 display his ability to breeze through 400 plus streams with anti-meta speed patterns. He has also teased his ability to use the flashlight mod as well here and there. For something he doesn't seem to practice often, he manages to FC files that most players wouldn't be able to do without the mod, most notably his Break 1.06 FC. Nate's LN skills shine every once in a while in his videos, as he has utilized his release timing skills to acquire FCs like on Lime and a near double S on Mirage. His last strength is certainly one he jokes about at times, but also uses to his full advantage: pattern manipulation. However, there's more to his pattern manipulation than just blind jump trilling. Pattern recognition is crucial to applying this to the amount of files Nate has been able to, and transitioning in and out of manipulating patterns is just as tricky. Nate's mix of strengths that he has, along with the ability to recognize any pattern he chooses, allows him to brute his way into any score he feels like getting that most people wouldn't think was reasonable to achieve with these tactics. Nate's main weakness boils down to his struggles with extremely technical files, usually stuff from the likes of Minty Fresh Packs 1 and 2, the Lofty Mini Pack series, and etc. This is most likely due to a lack of familiarity and the nature of his playstyle / hand position to hit the awkward, angry patterns that are spread throughout these files. Nate's accuracy compared to top players falls behind the likes of peoples around his skill level as well, such as Intelizer, Wonder, Chicads, and more. With that said, let's talk about what I think are his 5 top scores in no specific order. Easily his best FC, Nate displays his ability to hit 400 BPM streams loaded with mini jacks and trill transitions. The second half of this file is just as hard to FC. A pretty technical ending involving 200 BPM chord jacks, trills, super fast bursts, and yet Nate still manages to close out the first and only FC on this map.
I did it!
Another speed score that has really solid PA and is super clean. Nearly FCing the first half and only missing a few times in the second half, Nate makes 437 BPM light jump stream seem like second nature for the duration of the file. Nate's pattern manipulation and transition skills are actually pretty nutty in this score. The bursts in the second half of this file are just not friendly, and the fact that he essentially kept the same percentage he did in the first half in the second half is probably the most impressive part of this score to me. This score took me surprised by quite a bit. While the PA isn't anything to go head over heels for, the lack of booze and goods is amazing for a file with bursts and mini jacks this absurdly fast, making it one of his best AAs on Eterna to date. Another example of great usage of pattern manipulation, transitioning, and raw stamina. There's not a single break in this map, and how Nate doesn't manage to get lost in these patterns at all is pretty insane. It's also hilarious to think, looking at his scores, that the madman has actually played this on double time more than a few times.
Finally got it.
SillyFangirl is a player that brings a new type of style to the 4-key scene, and entertains thousands across the community, uploading scores pushing the limits of his own playstyle, and now stands as one of the most popular 4-key players in the world, despite starting 4-key at a much later date than other top players have. Thank you to Carnage for making this video happen, and a shout out to Princessville for supporting the channel too. If you would like to support the channel, please feel free to check out my Patreon, and other sellout links below. I'll see you all in whatever video I upload next, and take care.